Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the USA TKD 2021 US Open. I'm National Coach Barbara Brand. I'm way out here in Sacramento, and I'm along with my Poomsae pal Miyako Yerick. She's somewhere above Cuba, right? Somewhere in this area up in here in Maryland. So, how are you doing, Miyako?
Great. I'm on that amorphous blob over there on the East Coast. And it's, turning nice weather out here. I'm so glad that we have some good weather to sit down and watch the first of the finals episodes.
Yes, finally, we got here. So
we're going to start off with some of the color belt finals for the women. This is the all-female finals. So we'll do all the color belts and then get into the black belts.
Let's do it.
All right, and here we go. We're starting with the under 30 green belt female finals.
This is Rachel Bisadzinski. I got a 10 on that pronunciation. She's looking good to start off with Taeguk Samjang. I love Taeguk Samjang, the last of the foundational Poomsae, Taeguk Il, I, and Sam. Has a lot to offer in terms of preparing students for the foundational stances and hand techniques of the higher level Poomsae. She's doing a good job. She's zipping right through this Poomsae. Rachel's from the Taekwondo Club at the University of Central Florida, and she gets a 5.46 on Taeguk Samjang.
시작! So now moving on to Taeguk Ijang, number 2. And she looks a little more comfortable. I think accuracy might be a little higher on this one.
Right. So Taeguk Samjang has those knife hand blocks, which kind of throws students off a little bit about how to do that knife hand block in a back stance and then switch off to that punch in a front stance. It's a difficult transition, might make athletes a little bit cautious. She gets a 5.0 on the second Poomsae. So a little bit lower score on these. It was great to see Rachel starting off in competition in this virtual format. I remember when I was a green belt, I would have been like, what? Virtual format? Neat. It was really fun to see these young athletes starting off in this virtual format. So she gets a 5.2 for the combined score. Now we're moving on to the under 30 blue belt final. This is Sojung Kim, this great outdoor setting, which we've come to really appreciate. Looks like she picked a nice and clear day. She's with Ichthus Taekwondo team.
And she's from Irvine, California, so some nice weather, although I think maybe still shut down at the time of these videos, so able to at least do it maybe in a backyard. Looks like a great space.
Yeah, look at the great mat. She's all decked out there on the deck. She's got some nice volume here. Really good. A lot of times blue belts cut that a little bit short. She looks like she's really trying to use a lot of hand technique volume. So for Taeguk Samjang, her first form, she gets a 6.0.
And for these first few divisions, we just have one athlete, so it'll just be Sojung here doing these 2 forms.
Oh, nice round kick shot there with that right leg. So really nice start. And Taeguk Yukjang is tough. That's probably her highest level form. And there's a lot of little detail in here, especially this high round kick here to this transition up top.
Yeah, she has some good flexibility. I think if she extended her front stances a little bit longer, it'll help her look nice and grounded. But she is just 18, a blue belt here, and got a great score in their first form.
And a 5.87 on the second. So Sojung Kim takes a division with a 5.935 total score. And we're going to move on to the under 30 red belt division. Again, we have one athlete in this division. And it's nice to see another one from the University of Central Florida coming up. So it's great that they're starting off their lower belts in competition. This is Marissa LeQuire. Well, very aggressive speed. Look at her attack.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you want to be careful. Some of these hand techniques aren't quite hitting the right level coming forward. Looked like they might have all been at shoulder. We want to make sure those back fists come to the philtrum. But overall, she just looks really excited to be doing that form, and she gets a score of 5.76.
A great energy into that form. And then the second Poomsae, it looks like she's doing Taeguk Poljung. Miyako, which one was on the designated Poomsae list? Do we know for this one?
I don't have those notes in front of me now.
But she has the same approach, nice and quick on the turn and quick through the technique. She's got great flexibility, so she can really push off on that front kick kite.
And what's nice about these collegiate athletes, we've already had two here. There are a couple of online college tournaments coming up just for collegiate athletes. So the National Collegiate Taekwondo Association is going to have a tournament coming up in April. ECTC, the Eastern Collegiate League, also has a tournament coming up, as well as ACAT, which is a Southern East Coast league that I help run. So lots of opportunities for both color belt and black belt collegiate athletes coming up.
And unfortunately, because of the incorrect form, her score dropped to a 3.63 total score.
준비 시작.
This is Sri Diorio from Flying V Martial Arts.
And this is the under 50 green belt women's division. And we actually have two athletes here. And Sri is showing some really great flexibility and really clean hand techniques.
Yeah, she's trying to get nice and low in those stances. Really good for her level there at green belt. She scores a whopping 6.73. That's a really good score.
We've had a few athletes from Flying V over the tournaments, and they always seem to be pretty grounded, low stances, take their time, clean hands. So same thing here. Wow, look at that front
kick. Look at that height. Really nice. A little short on the front stances there, so I think she could go a little bit lower. Now that we see this angle, it's a little bit easier to tell how far those are going out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely for her leg length, she can push out a little further and give her a little bit more time to set up her hand technique if she does that.
Yeah. Hello.
Highlights in her performance for sure are those front kicks. She's got really good height. So that's Sri Diorio from Flying V Martial Arts. And she finishes that one with a 6.57, just a little bit lower than her first score, 6.73. So she'll finish the round and the event with a 6.650. This is Caitlin Manzaro. She's from Premier Sport Taekwondo. Really showing a lot of power through the entire hand technique of Taeguk Iljang.
Caitlin says that in order to compete in this tournament, she learned 2 Poomsae within 2 weeks to be able to compete here. Yeah.
So that's interesting because first one's Taeguk Iljang, right?
Right. So she had to learn Samjung and Sajung within 2 weeks, and then probably the Poomsae were announced. But this form she learned just basically for this competition.
That's great. What a motivator, right? Getting into an event and then really have to level up. Who wouldn't love to do Tae Iljung in a tournament, though?
Yeah.
That's fun. The transition is really solid, like she's keeping that foot flat and no heel popping. Real good.
바로
So that's Caitlin Manzaro from Premier Sport Taekwondo.
경례.
She gets a 6.8, so she bumps up that second form. She's going to be in the 6.7 somewhere. Very nice for that. Yeah, 6.730. Next up is going to be our under 50 red belt division. We have 4 athletes in this division. And the first is Samor
준비.
Shepard from Master Lee World Champion Taekwondo.
시작.
And she is from New Orleans, which we don't get a ton of athletes from Louisiana, I don't think. So great to see her and this dojang, which also we haven't really heard of, I don't think, Black Dragon Taekwondo.
Right. Hopefully she can spread the word, get all of her fellow teammates out here into the Poomsae action. She's very intentional and deliberate about what she wants to do, and she has really great sidekick height potential. Look at that.
So I'm seeing that her hometown is New Orleans, but it looks like her dojang itself is in Katy, Texas.
바로
Ah, okay.
And super fun fact, as we get her score here, which is a 6.06, is that she is a Spanish professor in the Texas A&M system. But she's not a native speaker of Spanish. She just loves inspiring students to gain functional fluency in foreign languages.
Well, that's great. So her approach is very measured. She's like really cautious, really putting it out there, trying to be as accurate as possible. She go maybe a little bit lower in these tighter stances here. This is always a tough little section for new athletes to find a rhythm in.
바로
Good job from Samora Shepard. She got a 6.06 on the
Sure.
first one. The second one was a little bit slower, so she took her time finding those like full stops, and I think that might have impacted her score a little bit. Maybe the referees were like a little bit more connection from step to step, so the pauses aren't so great. So she finishes with a 5.98. Next up, we have Pauline Ko Banerjee from out here in Sacramento, performing at her home. Looks like she's got a good setup there.
And this is your student, Coach Brand. She attends your dojang out there.
She
in
does,
California.
and she trains with her daughter and son. So all 3 of them are involved in Taekwondo, and it's really fun for them to train together.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember this backdrop garage with that panel from, I think, the Summer of Poomsae. So we must have seen her kids compete in that same area.
Right, and I think we'll see her daughter maybe compete coming up here in the cadet and junior divisions. She gets a 6.5, so a little gap over Summer Shepard.
And like you mentioned, we have 4 athletes in this division, so having a gap here will help.
Yes, for sure.
Pauline comes from a very competitive family. She says when she was growing up, whoever lost whatever the athletic challenge of the day was had to wash the dishes. So they had arm wrestling matches or like a sprint. I could totally see like, there's a lot of dishes today. I don't want to do it. Let's have this challenge at whatever I'm good at. I would totally do that.
Now that I didn't know. That's a great fun fact I can discuss with her. A strong finish to Cho-jung, just a little bit of lean. Got to make sure you bring those shoulders in line with the hips. Good performance from Pauline Ko Banerjee. She got a 6.5 for the first form and the exact same for the second. What are the odds of that?
That's good, especially on that high form for her, Taego Cho-jung there. Good score.
Up next, we have Charity Lawson from QE Taekwondo.
태국 오전 시작.
Now, Miyako, I know we've had other athletes from QE. Do we know what state that is?
So I am not positive, but I know that Charity is from Rancho Palos Verdes, California. So I don't know if she's still in California and that's where Quest is, or if that's just where she is based.
This is the toughest line in Ojung for sure. Giving yourself plenty of time to do the side kick. She looks like it didn't throw her off balance at all. So very strong performance from Charity Lawson at QE Taekwondo. She gets a 6.040. Now that's just under Summer Shepard's score, the first athlete that came out and got a 6.06. So we're kind of close. Here we go.
시작.
Charity, in her day job, works in rocket science, Coach Brand, which is awesome. And she says when she's not training or working, she's also pursuing a Master's of Science in Leadership and Management, and she's going to graduate this May. So she just sounds super busy, and she has a 4.0 GPA. So Charity, you're just crushing everything, it sounds like.
I hope we can meet. I hope we can meet at a future face-to-face event. That would be so fun to talk to a rocket scientist. And she's pretty deliberate too. She's a little bit like Summer in that, who was up first, in that she's really taking her time to finish everything. It's just as if the instructor said, you have to complete this there. She's making sure she's really deliberate in that motion. So she received a 6.040 for the first Poomsae, and now 5.73. So Cho-jung is a lot more difficult, so I could see how that could happen. It's all of those tricky details in that top line. So she finishes with a 5.885. Good job to Charity Lawson. And we have one more athlete, Catherine English. I think I remember with Catherine, right, from the Summer Poomsae.
That's right. Yeah, I remembered her name, and now seeing the space, I remembered the space too.
Ew, that corner angle. Trying to get the most space as possible and still be in the frame. And it's close, but she's making it work.
Yeah. And she actually won first place on our Grand Slam back in November last year, I think for this division. So she's our reigning champion right now. We'll see if she can hold on. Pauline had that big score of a 6.5 on both of her forms. So that's the score to beat right now.
Yeah, so let's see how Catherine does. Oh, look at that, 6.33. So she's definitely knocking at the door. Let's see if in Taego Cho-jung she can pull it out. You never know. I mean, Cho-jung will be rewarded with high points if she can navigate all these tricky little pieces in it.
Right, if she can stay really grounded, have a good rhythm, connection. So there's some good connections there. Footwork got a little bit crossed over, but she's definitely pushing, trying to make that rhythm pop out.
Well, I think this right here is where it's going to start to matter. And then going into this turn and this line here. How smooth can you make it? How much volume can you use? Oh, nice and straight on those horse stances. That's what I was talking about earlier, like a little bit of leaning. Sometimes we see with the athletes, she did a pretty good job. So Catherine English knocking at the door, trying to get that first place spot away from Pauline Ko Banerjee. Oh, Oh, look at that. She got 6.33 and now 6.77.
I think that's enough. I'm like trying to do math in my head.
Oh, 6.55. Oh, and just by the littlest bit, Catherine English swipes that away from Colleen Coe Banerjee. So close. Good job to everybody in this division. Summer Shepherd coming in third and Charity Lawson in fourth. Wow, so that did matter. That is an awesome competition between those women in that under 50 group. Here's Teresa Choi. She's from Kim Min Kyung Taekwondo Academy. She's a sole competitor in this division. This is the under 65 red female.
So this is our last of the color belt divisions for the episode today. Teresa's finishing out here with the under 65 red belt division. And she says that Taekwondo has given her a lot of benefits, including, of course, physical coordination by attending classes regularly. She says if she didn't do Taekwondo, she would be lazier.
I understand. She had a 5.57. You know what affected her score was that she looked in the incorrect direction on that line going back, and she did that twice. So without that having happened, she would have had a really high score into the sixes.
Yeah, it looks like her eye line, her sight just isn't quite getting all the way over on some of the moves. So here, wanted to look all the way to the right instead of to the back. But overall, I think she's doing really good. And, you know, she says that Taekwondo has really helped with her confidence. And before she did Taekwondo, she wasn't sure if she would be able to do it. And now she's, you know, really appreciated the encouragement from her coach. So I think that she's doing a great job here. She's the only one in her division, so we don't have anybody to compare her to, but looks like she's coming out and doing really well, getting those front kicks up there. And we're just so great to have you here, Teresa.
Yeah, and one day she'll be my division, so get that black belt.
Then you'll have lots of competition.
Yeah, the more the better. Good job to Teresa. That encouragement from her coach, very well founded. She got a 5.73 for the second Poomsae and a 5.65 for the second. I'll see you out there on the mat one day. Let's go, Teresa. Up next, we have the much awaited under 30 female final. Of course, we're going to go in reverse order from the high score. You want to explain that better than me, Miyako, in the semifinal?
Right. So whoever got the highest score in the semis will be going last. So the lowest score out of the finals here will be going first, Vivian. But of course, I remember we just had this. Her score was not low. These were very high scores for all 8 of these women.
Right, and she started off with a bang with those nice high choreo kicks. Really good reach. And up till this point, this division has not done any side kicks, right?
Right. I was just thinking of that. I was like, we've seen the front kicks, but finally now we're going to get to see some side kicks from this division. This is the youngest division for the seniors and masters for this whole session. So we should get some really popping side kicks.
That's a good strong start for Vivian Vo from Kwang Trung Martial Arts Institute. He starts us off with a 7.4.
All right, so we'll get some more side kicks here too in Tibet.
Yeah, but there's a lot of little nuanced steps in this Poomsae. It's interesting to see how the black belts will approach them, especially that line coming forward with those punching techniques, and then this little section before the side kick, how they handle that upper block to uppercut section there, how they do that with the timing, how they match that up to their body. So timing's going to matter here. presentation is going to be a big deal because everybody has good kicking technique in this division.
That's right.
So she gets another 7.4.
Big presentation scores there in the second form.
So up next we have Yerim Jung.
준비. 시작.
Oh my. Did you see that? Oh.
Wow. I think that's gotten better from the last tournament.
Yes.
Holy cow.
Yes.
Yeah, she's been putting in some work over these last couple of months.
Real clean.
Wow.
That one a little bit off. She saved that good, but if you saw her support leg, it looked like it was trying.
Rolled just a little bit better on this side. But she just does this so calm. Her presence on the mat is just so comfortable. Like, this is not hard at all.
Those first side kicks came out of nowhere. The speed on those, it was like, holy cow.
바로.
And that's really what you want, right? As an athlete, you want to do something so different that people like sit back and go, whoa, where did that come from?
There you go. She got the reward with a 7.73 for choreo. That was good work.
시작.
These front kicks too.
Yes. Very sharp. Really nice. Just the slightest up and down motion between those two sides.
Yeah, that left side kick at the top there out of the crane stance was so clean. Just a tad extra movement on the right leg. But overall, this is a really nice job for Yerim. And again, I think she's just made big strides in the last couple of months since we saw her at the Grand Slam. So really good job, Yerim.
경례.
Yeah, really leveled up. Oh, and another good score, 7.7. It's a little bit of tricky things in Quebec. So some of the transitions, not just quite as perfect. What can I say? This is Christy Park from Team Kim Boyan. Oh. Same, very similar to Yerim's technique on the side kicks. A more of a bent leg here on the front kicks, however.
Christy might have a slightly slower tempo with like a little bit longer pauses between the moves, but I am struggling here to come up with anything that, you know, is wrong or bad. She's doing a really great job.
Her technique is really clean on the hand technique side of everything, just like very nice, linear, pulls the trigger really hard to get the explosion out on the execution. Really nice, 7.77. So just a bump above Yerim Jung.
And Christy is currently a freshman at Stanford University, but looks like she is still at her home dojang there at Taekwondo Kids. Although it looks like she's from San Jose. So maybe that's, I don't actually know anywhere in California. Is San Jose close to Stanford?
Yeah, very close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This Poomsae is really, I think, stronger than the first. Really clean. The front kicks, like super fast off that first line, setting the tone. Yes, really nice. That left one almost completely vertical. So Christy got a 7.77 for the first Poomsae, a little bit lower. I'm going to disagree. But
Yeah, I really liked that. I thought she had some good click on the hips and the leg techniques too.
Good timing. 7.670 to finish up the final round. Up next, we have Erica So training there at Eagle Taekwondo in Southern California.
시작.
All of these competitors are so strong. Erica taking her time, making sure everything is got a nice clean finish.
A little bit slower rhythm overall, like you mentioned, really taking her time. Her side kicks are getting to the same height, I feel like, as the first few athletes, but a little bit slower on the way up. So taking her time on the way, on the extension, rather than like really punching it up like Yaram did. But getting the same height, just overall slower, just slightly slower.
바로
This is hard. I'm glad I'm not judging this division.
Yeah. 7.67. We get a closer look at those side kicks and Tebek here, which gets a little closer to the camera so you can see that angle a little bit better. Yeah, everything is finished, everything's complete. Sometimes when we have that kind of measured tone, it looks a little bit less powerful. So a little bit more connection maybe between the movements is what the referee is looking for, so that she can connect to a faster speed on the execution of the hand techniques. She has a lot of power, but she slowed it down a little bit. So 7.57, that's actually the same score that Christy Park received on Tebek. So now the highest score for Tebek still goes to Yerim Jung. So Erica's going to finish with a 7.620. And up next, we have Haley Ra from Agape Black Belt Center.
시작.
Wow, that right side really went up high.
Quick tempo there on the side.
Look at that speed coming up to that side kick. Really, yeah.
This is Haley's second year in the division, and she is an accounting student at Baruch College, Baruch, B-A-R-U-C-H College, and she's doing this semester online, but she also, Coach Brand, has a TikTok account where she has over 325,000 followers.
Hold the phone, 8.1, that's nuts,
wow.
That's great. Now we've had other very high scores for this division in the semifinal round, even the prelim round. That's the first 8 that we've caught sight of, and what a huge jump in score.
Yeah.
That speed is definitely having something to do with it. So she's really able to make it very dynamic. Just little things for Haley, just coming up a little bit on some of these transitions, but overall she's really trying to attack this.
Yeah, that looked really good. We did see the last 2 athletes' scores dropped just a little bit on Tebek, but I think she looked strong here, but it didn't have that pop like that choreo top bar, man. That was so great.
7.840, just a bunch of little picky things on accuracy, but look at that score, 4.77 for presentation. Wow. Really clean. Final score 7.970. I think that she has done a really great job with body management, like really knowing what her body can do. She's such a small, petite person and really able to pump up that power and speed. This is Karen Rial from Eagles Taekwondo, Southern California. And Karen has the same characteristics. She really knows what her body is capable of and really takes it to the limit. A really good control and volume on the hand technique. Good control here on the kicking technique, and then really good, nice timing and volume on the hand technique.
Yeah, the speed that she gets and the volume of motion on the hand techniques without drifting below the belt is just a really nice, rounded, smooth motion, accelerating at the end. It looks really nice.
Yeah, it's going to be a great score for Karen Rial for choreo. Oh, the 8.230, well deserved. That was a really clean form. I think many of the athletes are experimenting as they record, like trying to find that right speed, that right timing, that right look, like you said in an earlier episode. But I think Karen knows the speed that works for her. She just dials it in. And then it's just a matter of picking probably the best of those recordings. I don't think she's doing a lot of experimenting. I think she's already got that told in.
Right. Yeah. For her, it's just consistency, getting those runs in, performing at a high level consistently throughout the year at all these tournaments, because she has done a lot of events.
Hello.
Good. Probably another high score for Karen. Maybe not quite as high as the choreo, but we'll just have to see. There's always so much going on with Tebek that it's hard to know which way that. Yeah, so a little bit lower, but a nice clean score. 8.030 for Tebek. Two good scores over 8, the first in the division. So she finishes with an 8.130, and the scores are starting to tick upward. Here are our standings so far with Karen Rial in first, Haley Rock, Yerim Jong, Christy Park, Erica So, and Vivian Bowe right behind. So we're looking for that number 1 spot now that we're in the finals. And this is Eva Sanderson from Denmark. Really came out of the gates in an impressive way in the prelim round. Nice and steady in the semis.
Ooh, holy cow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. I'm surprised she didn't break in half. Jeez, look at these kicks. And the power. Oh.
What fun. Oh my goodness.
So here's another.
Oh.
Really just showing off what she does so well, these kicks. Wow.
That's awesome. Such good control too. Not a moment of a wobble at all.
And so much power in the hand techniques too.
Yeah, real patient with herself and then really able to burst with the power.
Well, I'm so glad that we're getting these sidekick forms here in the finals. It's just so exciting. Holy cow. Holy cow. Look at the presentation. It's a 5.1 average.
From 4 of them. Oh my goodness. All right.
Cow.
Okay, let's go, Tebek.
Tempo here coming forward.
Yeah, but really well controlled.
I'm surprised you haven't fallen off your chair, Coach Brand. This is just crazy.
Eyeballs.
Here.
I haven't blinked since she started. Very.
I think I saw one heel pop, and that is the only thing
only thing I noticed.
My eyeballs, oh my goodness, my retinas are just burning right now. Just trying to take it all in from Eva Sanderson, getting another great score, 8.340, but we're not even done yet. We still have one more athlete to go in this under 30 female final. Eva finishes up with an 8.385.
That's incredible.
And AJ Munoz says, wait a minute, I am ready too. She's coming out of Team Forge Taekwondo in Texas. So let's see how she does. She was able to get some nice high scores in the prelim and the semifinal round. Now we had Kumgung in the semifinal round, right? I think it would have suited her maybe a little bit better if that was in the final round, so it could factor in. She scores pretty high with that. But she's a big fan of choreo, so let's see how she does. She's known for her grounded strength here. Let's see how she does on this last line. Looks good and strong. So it's already some high scores here. She joins them with the 8.13. And I think that's right around the third, right? Third spot.
Yes.
For that Poomsae, just above Haley Raw, who also had really good speed and was on fire there with that form. I thought Haley did a great job too.
Nice torso rotations on those blocks and punches coming forward.
So I think in this case, that side kick height is going to matter, right? And that angle of those side kicks were just crazy for a couple of the competitors in this division. So AJ got some nice high kicks on the side kicks. We're going to see if that was enough. So after the 8.13 for choreo, we'll see how she does in pivot. So she was in first place going into the finals. Now she finishes with an 8.070. And I think that looks a lot like third, pretty sure. So we'll see how, when the standings come up here. She'll finish with a final of 8.0. Yeah, just above the 797 at Haley. So here we go with the standings. Eva Sanderson finishes in first with a huge 8.385, followed by Karen Rial, AJ Munoz, Haley Raw, Yerim Jong, Christy Park, Erica So, and Vivian Vo. What a great division.
That was incredible. I'm definitely going to go back and watch that again.
Yeah, so we're going to continue, though, with the under 40 female recognized division while I put my eyeballs back in their proper spot.
준비.
This is Chloe Marie Mercado from Elite Taekwondo Center.
시작.
So we have a full stack, a full rack, a full pack in this division, all 8 in the finals this time around, just like the under 30s.
We actually have a full finals all the way up through under 60.
Right.
Which is just so incredible.
Yeah, it means more athletes joining us on the mat. So the more the better. And now that people get to see that it's not so scary, right, online and just watch it from the comfort of their home, I'm hoping that they'll feel welcome and ready to join us in the next event.
Right.
So Chloe Mercado starting us off in the round. Of course, this is going reverse order, 7.170. So the athlete who finished in first after the semis will go last. In this case, that will be Carissa Fu.
시작.
Now these guys get their chance at choreo as well. So I'm expecting to see some pretty high scores in this division as well.
Nice centered front kicks there coming forward.
Power. Yeah, definitely focusing on that hand technique power.
pedal.
A nice finish for Chloe Mercado. She's from Elite Taekwondo Center.
차례.
She received a 7.17 to start us off in the division. And she finishes up with a 7.07 for choreo. So that's some good presentation score. The accuracy took a few bites out of the score. So she finishes with a 7.120. Next up, we have Hillary Monaco from Westside Taekwondo in New York. Nice start. She's trying to be really accurate on those techniques facing the camera.
I'm getting some good hip rotation on these 8 counts. Cat stance is a little bit long there.
She's very good balance and control. Right when I said that.
Right when you say that, Coach Brand.
Right up to then, it was like everything was super balanced.
Yeah, I think that's why she chose this take. It was just so solid up until then, and a good score here.
Score 7.2. Wow, nice height on that side kick. That was surprising because it was just kind of like very, I don't know, like it was a casual thing for her, like reaching for a cup of tea, and then all of a sudden when it got her.
Oh, I'm sure she will appreciate you saying that.
And the height too, you can see the height from the back, right? It's always nice to see the kick at the head or over the head from the back view. Look at that, that left one wants to go. Let it go, Hillary. Look at that one too. Nice.
Yeah, a couple of the stance lengths are a little long, a little off. But I think she worked really hard on the side kick, so good run overall, I would say.
Yeah, I see improvement from the last event that we had. Good job to Hillary Monaco from Westside Taekwondo in New York. So her first score for Paul John was 7.2. And now for choreo, it's going to be interesting because there were some accuracy hits and she ends up with a little bit lower. Yeah, 7.17. That sounds about right. So she finishes with a 7.185 and now into first place so far with Thuy Tong. Next up from Lee's US Taekwondo in Texas.
시작.
She's got some long hair there. I wonder if that's her quarantine hair.
A little bit short on the finish of that one, a little bit low. She did that in quarantine. That's very impressive. Yeah, maybe extend that out a little further, just a little bit higher.
Wow.
Nice reach.
Really great front kicks.
Good, nice finish. She's really going for that power. I noticed that her elbow kind of swings out wide on the punches, so she just needs to slide those arms right along her rib cage until it goes out on a straight path. So she gets a 7.17 for Take It Paul John. I think that's like a very common thing, is to not really take notice of those elbows until somebody points it out and you go, oh my goodness, I didn't know I was doing that.
Right, you're trying so hard to make power, and sometimes it just comes out a little weird.
Nice reach on these double side kicks. Oh, good height here.
To relax her shoulders just a little bit. Looks like they're creeping up as she's thinking about these side kicks, maybe.
I think sometimes you just try to get more power, and then you add that little extra shoulder movement thinking that's going to help. Of course, that's just like a subconscious thing, right? Like you're not really trying to bring your shoulders up. You're just trying to get
right. It's not on purpose.
Yeah. Your body just starts looking a little tighter than you want it to. So yeah, just kind of drop them down a little bit and take a breath. And you go like, oh yeah, I didn't know that was happening either. Okay, so 7.17 for Tu Yit Tong. She got some really good reach on the front and side kick. So a lot of good technique to launch from. So she gets even a higher score, which hasn't been the case, right? With the other athletes, she gets a 7.27, so higher as she went. So 7.220 for her final score, and now into, looks like second place. No, first place.
I think first place.
Yeah, first place, which kind of goes along with the order that we're going. This is Jessica Marie Ayers from Duongale, USA.
Jessica's fun facts. Do you know what she's obsessed with?
I'm going to say Poomsae because she's in every single tournament.
That's true. She has been doing a lot of tournaments, but she says she's obsessed with Baby Yoda, Grogu from the Mandalorian series. And I totally agree. He's super cute.
Super cute. Yeah, I got sucked into all of that as well. So really nice reach on the front kicks.
Yeah.
Notice she was very deliberate coming forward on that very first line, trying to make sure that everything was centered up. Very good. Over the years, she's made a lot of progress. She's done quite well in competition. She finishes with a huge score, 7.8. I would kind of expect that from her because she has a lot of experience and seems to be getting better and better with each one. Nice.
I remember her side kicks from the semis just had improved so much over the last couple of months.
That's interesting. A little overturn on these top line side kicks, which surprised me. The first ones, it was like, man, if somebody could break my leg and then reinsert it, the position where hers were on the double kick, man, I would do it. The second set, I don't know why that quite happened. I don't think it needs to happen because she was sending those first kicks way up there. So just a little overturned on that second set, but this is a really picky for me to say. She gets a 7.77, and of course she didn't lose her balance doing any of that. It was just something that I noticed, just a little bit more turn. So she finishes up with a 7.8. Did you see that same thing, Miyako?
Yeah, I was actually looking at the retraction, and she was able to drop down into really deep front stances. So I wonder if that was the overturn was to help with the next stance, maybe.
That one makes sense then. This is Ashley Lamb from Daima Taekwondo.
And I think I remember Ashley from last year's tournaments, but I don't remember her before that. And she said that she started Taekwondo, I think, with her kids back in the summer of Poomsae, the info. But she's just really opened up here and is looking really great.
She has super long legs. I mean, she can just go for it. So I'm not sure if she realizes that potential, but wow. She probably will be able to kick higher and higher with each new event. This is Ashley Lamb from Dima Taekwondo. Miyako likes to call it Dima Taekwondo.
I was told I was wrong. Ashley also loves audiobooks, and she says she listens to them at an advanced speed. So she actually completes like 10 audiobooks a month, which is crazy. I read like 2 books a year and feel good about myself. So I need to do her approach.
Looking really good coming down this front line with these front kicks nice and high. I've done the same thing with the audiobooks, but it's not nearly as enjoyable as listening to them at their natural speed.
I think especially in Paul Jung, but a little bit here in choreo too, her legs are so long that sometimes her front stances are short. So she does just need to extend them a little bit more.
Right, short and left one, it seems to be on track. Right one's a little bit wide. We saw that going on that back line there. So just need to keep those consistent. So it's Ashley Lamb. She received a 7.27 for the first and now a 7.230 for the second Poomsae. So that'll land her right in the middle with a 7.250. And we have 3 athletes left in the division, the first of which is Miyako Yerick, my fellow commentator here from CW Taekwondo at Boston, but not competing here at Boston, but rather performing, looks like, in her living room.
That's right. There was a big snowstorm when I was recording, so I couldn't get out to the dojongs that I normally record at. So we moved the table and the chairs out of the living room, and this is the space that I had.
The first line was nice and clean, and a lot of power coming off that first set of techniques. This one too looks like you're really aware of where those punches are landing when you go toward the camera. And well, you should be after watching hundreds and hundreds of video.
Of hours of Poomsae.
Looking to see that kick. Looked like a little something happening with the camera there.
Yeah, so this is my first time doing it at home, and I have a tripod, but it's a wooden floor, and so every time I land too heavy, the tripod shakes a little bit.
You should get more points for that, but I think the reverse might happen.
Yeah.
That's a good score, right? So that's under Jessica Ayres, though. So that's the second highest score for Paul Jung. So let's see what happens in choreo. Looks like the space is tight for that. It's a good kick. Nice angle. You look so close to that wall. You really have to. Oh, I see what's happening. So when your foot lands, the camera.
Yeah, there's little
extra
little
motion.
shakes.
See what happens on this line. Nice reach. Same thing there. Looks like you've really been working on extending that side kick and holding it. That elbow a little bit high when you went to that last elbow strike. It's up a little bit. Maybe just elbows at the natural height would look really good for your body. You finish it right before you hit that baseboard.
Right, you already recommended I knock out that wall into the kitchen for Poomsae purposes, so I'll take that into consideration.
Yeah, you don't really need a kitchen. So 7.43 for Miyako's first and a 7.60, just under that for the second. So I think that puts you in second at the moment. Am I right?
I think so.
7.53. So here are the standings so far with Jessica Ayres in first, followed by Miyako Yerick, Ashley Lamb, Chuyit Tong, Hillary Monaco, and Chloe Mercado. There's 2 athletes to go, the first of which is April Min from Kim's Taekwondo Center.
I've seen April compete in a couple of the European tournaments with me, and she just really came in here in the semis and got some massive scores, rocketed her up into second place. She's very clean, has nice stops in between the motions. There's no extra motion from her. So I think this will be really interesting. Jessica was in 5th place coming here into the finals, but just, man, got those massive scores of 7.83 on this form. So here, April, a 7.40. So that's just behind me, who I went just before her. So this is going to be tight, this top 4 or so athletes. We do have quite a spread from the 8 athletes here in the finals. I think April's cleanliness is really helping her presentation score. There's just not many bobbles. Nice clean backdrop. Dipping below the belt there on some of those blocking techniques on the single knife hand block. Just make sure it doesn't go below the belt, especially because her frame is so small. That extra motion looks big on her body. So just tightening that up a little bit, but really clean overall.
So April Min finishes with a 7.73. Boy, that's a nice high score.
Yeah.
And combines with the first for 7.565. Just a hair over Miyako Yerick. And then now we're to our final competitor, came into this round in first place, Carissa Fu from CW Taekwondo at Boston.
Carissa has lots of Taekwondo accomplishments, but I feel like I've said them before. So I'll give you some fun facts about Carissa as a person. She loves musicals. And she was a member of a tap dancing group when she was in college, and it was called the Tap Cats at Princeton.
Well, that explains a lot. Those quick feet. No problem there, shifting from stance to stance in Palja, making it look easy. So look at that score, 7.8. That's a big score. And that is the same score that Jessica Ayres got on the first Poomsae. So now we're going
Actually, I think Jessica had a 7.83. So she's just ahead.
Oh my goodness. Well, look at that kick right there. This is going to be great. I only wrote down up to the 7.8 for Jessica. So this is really exciting. Let's see if Carissa can catch up or if Jessica's lead is just too much.
Right. So Jessica's combined score right now is way up ahead of anybody else at a 7.80 combined. So Carissa needs at least the same score, and then it comes to presentation. But if she can get just 100th higher, she'll take in.
If I'm right, Jessica got a 7.77.
Right. Yeah.
Is that right? Well, Carissa's come to fight here. She looks really strong on this form.
Yeah. Those side kicks look really good. All right, so here, that was the last form for this division. There's been so much drama in these last two divisions. It's so exciting with choreo.
Yeah, so Carissa received a 7.8 and Jessica 7.83. And look, so 7.73 and Jessica had a 7.77. So holy Shaboli Jessica Ayres. 7.765 total score for Carissa Fu. And look at that. Jessica Ayres finishes in first, followed by Carissa Fu, April Min, Miyako Yerick, Ashley Lam, Thuy Tong, Uri Monaco, and Chloe Mercado. Wow, I didn't know that was coming, but how exciting was that?
Yeah, definitely. It all came down to that choreo.
Now, I think we're going to see more excitement here in this female under 50 final. We're going to be starting off with Sheena Kim from Maves Athletics.
Right, the drama continues here with a third of the black belt women's divisions. Here we have, again, a full rack of 8 athletes in the finals. Hua Wen, one of the perennial top place earners, world champion, is coming into the finals here in 4th. Kathy Doe just entering into this division in 1st place for now. We'll get to see them later, and it'll be a fight-off. But here, Sheena Kim is opening up really strong with Ship Jin. She has a very different body type, super tall and lean, and she just looks so big in this space. I want to know if it's like, is it her basement? I don't know where she's doing this, but it's just such a cool location.
Yeah, it sure is. It really frames her body really nice. And I just got off the phone with some of the Vegas odds makers out there, and it is really split. People do not know exactly what to do, but they are throwing their money into this, that, and the other thing. The overs and unders are just crazy, and I'm not really sure what that means, but I think it has something to do with gambling. But Sheena Kim looking really strong here, looking for a little bit more torso turn. I say torso, I meant torso. Looking for that core to really turn. So she's a really strong competitor, gets a 7.57 right out of the blocks in this division.
And another choreo. Holy cow. So good clean extension and retraction for Sheena on those side kicks. Hi! Great height on the front kicks.
Taking a moderate speed. So I think speed and tempo is going to matter in this group. Trying to have yourself stand out among such great competitors.
Space might be just a little bit small on that right side. She had to shorten that front stance just a little bit.
So nice, strong performance from Sheena Kim from Maves Athletics. So she had a 7.57 to start us off for the first Poomsae. And now for choreo, coming in with a 7.33.
Oh my gosh. Wait, sorry. I have to just say this because I just read her fun fact. Sorry, combined score 7.45. But Sheena and I are both like obsessed with macarons, and she says she makes a weekly batch of macarons, and there's tons of flavors here that sound amazing. So you can just bring me some the next time we have a tournament, and I'll taste test for you.
Likewise. This is Juliet Doe from Flying V Martial Arts.
I think that Juliet's uniform is a little bit big for her. She might want to go one size smaller so that we can see some of these stances. But it looks like her legs are really long. And so she is going to have to really just drop her weight a little bit lower in these stances to look right for her body type. Oh, great. Front kick flexibility here.
Okay, that was a real strong finish from Juliet Doe. Her front kicks is like really surprisingly fast. I didn't expect that. It looked really good. 7.0 is her first score. I think, again, she just had a really relaxed position, and all of a sudden it came out of nowhere. Really good extension on those kicks.
시작.
Just like that one.
Side kick too.
Yeah.
Very little dip on her upper body on the side kicks too. But she has really good hip flexibility.
Uh-oh, looked a little bit at the camera. We've all done that every now and then, like just trying to check, right?
Yeah, make sure like the angle was right. She's better on that second side.
Mm-hmm.
하루.
Good, nice and
Good.
smooth finish for Juliet Doe from
Good.
Flying V Martial Arts. She received a 7.0 for her first form and 6.8 for the second.
So she might have taken a major there for looking the wrong way. That accuracy dropped down just a little.
Yeah, that's too bad. So she gets a 6.9 for her final score. And this is Shannon Hodak from Tiger Kim's World Class Taekwondo in North Carolina.
Shannon has two cats, and their names are Queso and Lily. So Shannon, our cat's Queso and my cat Nacho should be friends.
Yeah. Please don't bring them to a tournament.
I'm trying to teach Nacho how to walk outside on a leash. It's not going great so far.
No?
But Shannon says that during the pandemic, because she's been at home with her two cats, they've taken up a daily ritual of bird watching.
Oh, that's fun. Looks good here, nice and vertical, good posture.
Good overall. I think those punches look just a little placed. She could have just a tad more power to some of these attacking motions, but very clean and good position overall.
Yeah, but in her defense, those punches are a little odd.
They are very awkward. They are very awkward.
7.43 for Sipchin. That's a big score. That puts her into second on that form.
Mm-hmm. Here we go again, choreo, just the deciding form for these black belt divisions today. Pretty good control there out of the side kicks.
Her right front kick is really good. She allows herself to stand up all the way before she extends it. So on the left side, not so much. She'll be chambering and kicking and standing up all at the same time, so that kick extends a little sooner. That's Shannon Hodak from North Carolina. She received a 7.43 and now following it up with a 7.5. Good job. Nice little bump for the second one. So she'll finish with a total score of 7.465, which now puts her into, whoa, is that first?
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is now Maria Sokolova from Lee's US Taekwondo in Texas.
Doing a good job so far, staying pretty level in these transitions. Little drop there, but overall really nice.
Yeah, she's really trying to push out that horse stance. Looks good.
Maria's first language, Coach Brand, is Russian.
Oh, she's mine too.
I don't remember the story. She was on the national team in 2019 when we went to the President's Cup.
Right,
and I remember she told me, but I can't remember the story behind that. But it looks like her daughter, Katharina, is also competing in the tournament now, and she was in the Senior 1 division. So that's so nice to have them both competing.
Over the last couple of years, she's gotten a lot stronger, for sure. Her foundation's getting a lot more grounded, so that looks good, really good. 7.56 for Maria Sokolova.
That's just under Sheena Kim's score. But again, it all comes down to choreo here. It's all
Sure does.
choreo this episode.
Yeah, Sheena received a 7.57, right? And now Maria 7.56, so really close.
Really clean hand techniques, taking her time here. She is not rushing. A little bit of that right shoulder coming up on the front kick. Torso could come up just a little bit quicker after the side kick. She lands in that front stance, but the torso is still forward, and then she has to pull it backwards to get back up to vertical. So trying to get that chest up at the same time that you land in the front stance would be good, but is quite difficult.
Yeah, plus you weren't supposed to see that, Miyako. Okay, this is Maria Sokolova from Lee's US Taekwondo. She has 7.56. And now 7.46. That's a good score.
Yeah, I think that's definitely enough to put her into first for
Yes. 7.510 is the new score to beat. So we have Tuol Nguyen up next. Tuol Nguyen competing in her space in Washington. So Tuol is very competitive by nature. She is not enjoying this fourth place spot right now. She's saying, everybody look at me. I want to take this.
nice long front stance. Tuol is a snackaholic, she says. Sweets are her weakness. And she likes donuts, warm cookies from Metropolitan Market, mochi donuts, mochi ice cream. Next time we go on a team traveling trip, she needs to be friends with me and give me those snacks.
I'm a fellow kombucha addict with her, but I saw her once between rounds eat about 1 pound of gummy worms.
Oh my gosh.
She said she needed, she just needed it. I'm like, no, you don't need it. But I guess she did. She did pretty well there. Tuol, that was a very solid performance. So that's kind of what I expected from Tuol. And look at that, a 7.8. So Sipton's a good form for her. It really shows off her posture and her graceful nature going from one stance to the other. And choreo also fits her quite well. So let's see how she does here.
Whew. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that crazy, nutty, odd, strange, cool flexibility on these side kicks.
Little bit of a fall there on the left side, but just, I think definitely the highest side kick by far for this division. Yet, so far, I should say.
Well, a little bit of a glitch there and there. That was surprising. It really pulls up almost behind her. The side kick is almost behind her from that angle.
I think maybe in the semis, there might have been a side kick form and it was towards the camera. So we saw she pikes just a little bit on the side kicks. But here from the front, we can't really tell that angle and they just look so high. But she is having a couple of balance checks here in this form. So it's definitely interesting. We have 3 more competitors after her, all of whom are very strong. I believe one of them is international.
Well,
so
right at the end, right there at the end, last step, her right knee tricked in a little bit, and then she kind of pulled it back, and that happened going forward too. So I'm wondering about that right knee. 7.73, if it just felt a little bit off that day. Whenever she landed coming forward, I saw that too, just tricking a little bit to the inside. So she gets a 7.75 and clearly into first place. So up next we have Sumi Jung from Simsbury Olympic Taekwondo Academy in Connecticut. So of course she was 3rd coming into this round, but Twa just had a really good, strong performance. So she's gonna have to work hard to boost her score above that.
Right. Opening up with lots of power.
And nice and level throughout.
Pretty clean freezes.
Little extra. So we talked yesterday about, these transitions in Sipjin and how challenging they were for some of the different divisions, but these guys have it dialed in. They've been doing Sipjin for a long time, and they know how to really navigate all the stances, and they all look really good at it.
Well, this is definitely going to be a battle here for the last 4 athletes.
That was a very strong performance from Sumi Jung, and she gets a 7.7. So Twa got a 7.8. So let's see what happens on choreo. So in that form, Twa's score is 7.73. So somebody's going to have to really do a great job here to get past that.
She's looking really solid so far.
Little bit.
Yeah, of course, as soon as I say this, there's just, I feel like a couple of balance checks. She's really trying to push the height of the side kicks and just falling out just a tad.
She looks very athletic though. So she is just going for it, right? Sometimes people try to stay in a real graceful frame or careful frame, and she's just like, I'm an athlete. I'm going to push this out as hard as I can. So she received a 7.7 for her first form, and she's got a little ways to go to beat, and that is a 7.76, so close, but
not enough.
Not quite there.
Good enough for second for now.
0.730, yep. No, that's not. Oh, yeah, that's right. So Twa wins now in first, followed by Sumi Jung, Maria Sokolova, Shannon Hodak, Sheena Kim, and Juliet Dove. So we have just 2 athletes to go in this division. First is Songjin Lee from Texas.
시작.
And she's saying, you thought those guys were good, now watch this.
These women are so good at staying pretty level on this opening bar of Shipjin. I was working on this form just the other day, and I noticed I was not doing that. I'm going up and down, and my mounted blocks are off. So definitely, I think this is a division to watch. especially for this form, on how to be grounded and just flow across the mat.
Right. These guys feel really good and comfortable with this form, so it is a good one to study. Now she's going to show the contrast, really coming up quick. That was Sungjin Lee, the huge score, 7.83. Now that is the highest score so far, if I'm looking at my record right. Is that correct, Miyako?
Yeah, so that's 3/100ths of a point higher than Chua got on that form. So again, it all comes down to choreo here. And the last couple of athletes have had a couple of balance checks,
right,
either in the transitions or on the side kick. So if Sungjin Lee here can be very steady, very clean, she could take that first place spot with one more athlete to go. Yeah.
The floor is open. No problem with that one.
That's very clean.
Hold your breath now. See what happens here. Really pushing up and staying in frame. She looked like she stopped a little short there to make sure on that last front stance after the side kick.
Quick attacking rhythm there on the last bar. She's like, I am done. Be done.
Yeah, it was good. Take a deep breath now and be relieved. No more runs to do that day. So 7.83 following with a 7.7. And
oh man, this is me close.
Hold your breath, everybody. 7.7.
Oh my gosh.
5. Wow. So close.
So that's a tie with Chua.
Yes,
and I did not write down the presentation. Did you?
No, I did not, but I got to take a breath in and watch Kathy Doe, the axe murderer, all Poomsae athletes coming in and just rip it apart if she can. Now, she had the same form at the World Championships this year, and so she got a lot of practice. She's been doing this now probably for, half of her life, but more so during the last few months with the World Championship prep, and then just trying to stay fresh, I'm sure, with it. A little short on that stance there to the inside, but the first line was really strong.
Good contrast so far. And I think she is the youngest athlete in this division, so I'm expecting a nice athletic, aggressive attack here on the front kick bar coming forward.
The whole division has been very athletic. So
it's true.
I think it's going to be her speed, though, right? She's going to pop up right there. Boom!
So
that is her thing right there, trying to come with the speed.
All right, Poomsae twin, let's go.
I'm going to say maybe an 8.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
3. Very good. 7.93, nothing like making it clear, Kathy. So with a lot of the divisions, there's been a bit more of a gap, right, between the top athletes. This one, they're all kind of stacked up on top of each other.
Yeah.
She's got to really go. Watch this side kick come up on this side. It's like the first one.
Bang, jeez. She's so flexible, so little dip. She has less dip on her torso than some of the senior one girls do.
It's true.
And she's now in this 41 to 50 division. All right, everybody take notes. Kathy's giving a masterclass.
Oh, that one looked good. Well, there's some real strong elements in all of these athletes in this finals group. They're all really, really great in different ways, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true. A bunch of different styles from the athletes.
For sure, different speed, different tempo. They all try to work what's best for their body, and then Kathy just has it pretty much dialed in at this point, really coming in to join this group in a big way, saying, guys, 8.03.
Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations. That was amazing.
And finishes with a 7.98. So close, Kathy, to that 8. Why not next time just get over that 8? Kathy Dillon first, followed by Sunjin Lee, 12 wins, Sumi Jung, Maria Sokolova, Shannon Hoda, Sheena Kim, and Juliet Doe, all really strong competitors. And I hope to see them all back. These guys are just really, like, you can just tell that they just are eating this up, just like they have the taste in their mouth right now. I want to go back. So our next division is a female under 60. And again, we have full rack with Amber Smith starting us off from The Rock. What is that? The Rock, you know, The Rock? The Rock Martial Arts and Fitness. Is that in Hollywood?
It's in Colorado.
Wow.
Right. I always, I'm pretty sure this is the third USA Taekwondo event she's done, because every time I'm like, please be named after Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
That's what I thought. Like maybe that's the
She
only
never
way.
tells me. Shannon, Amber, you have to write to me and tell me. Otherwise, I'm going to keep saying that this is Dwayne Johnson's gym.
Yeah.
Amber says that she competes in Poomsae because she's too old for figure skating, which she, I believe, did when she was younger. And she says, sadly, there's no such thing as competitive reading.
So Amber Smith from The Rock Martial Arts and Fitness finishing up with Chongquan. Now we haven't seen Chongquan yet, right?
Not today, yeah.
Yep. So she gets a 6.9. So everybody's favorite Kumgang coming in second. So they may have had to do a lot of Chongquan recording to get to this one.
Not an easy draw. A little bit of an up and down here in these transitions. Again, just want to stay grounded as low as you can. So little of this form is actually standing up. Most of it is down in that stance. That was a pretty good transition there.
Good way to hang on to it through the whole thing. That is Amber Smith from The Rock Martial Arts and Fitness. She got a 6.9 on Chongquan, followed by a 6.840. So really strong showing, a 6.870 final score. Up next, we have Pat Petrovsky.
Pat is from Australia. She's from Melbourne, so she's one of our international athletes in this division. Pat is a primary school teacher, and she has 3 children. So she started Taekwondo as an adult at age 37. So perfect example of how you can start Taekwondo at any point in your life and continue to compete and be very competitive. Here she is in the finals.
Yeah, nice. That camera angle is really nice. You see that top line on Chongquan. It's a really important line in the Poomsae. So it's nice for us to be able to see all that detail.
I think traveling to Australia is one of like the hardest countries to get to from the US. It takes like a whole day. So it's nice that here Pat gets to compete in the US Open without having to actually travel to the US, which would take so much time.
We always do get a good group from Australia joining us. It's always fun to see them. She received a 7.16 on her first form.
It's a nice bump there over our first athlete for the division. Nice power on those hand techniques.
Yeah, this transition, trying to stay low, that's the challenge there. So she came up a little bit, and then she's got to kind of navigate higher horse stances because of that. And then when she comes up again in this one, it might force that knee to wobble just a little bit because it's not completely all the way as low as it needs to be, nor is it all the way straight. So it's kind of in that wobble zone.
So here she's taking the approach of a full pivot and then pick up. Lots of different approaches there.
Well, you have to gamble, you have to know what your body's capable of doing. If it has a better time balancing in one way, you want to go with that one. So she gets a 6.930. She had that 7.16, real good score for Chongquan. So she's going to finish up with a 7.045. Our next competitor is Belinda Ko from North Shore Taekwondo in Canada.
And Belinda has competed, I believe, in some of our previous online events that we've had. And I remember from those earlier tournaments that she likes to paint miniature figurines. But a new fun fact for her, which I didn't know, I feel like I know Belinda, even though we've never met, is that she likes to cook and she also plays the classical guitar and says that she likes to do the Spanish guitar genre as well as playing Bach.
That's a lot.
It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, she had a really good semifinal round, a good performance in those two Poomsae. She's looking good here, nice and steady. So we know this is a 12.0 tournament, right, Miyako? So tell us how it's affected if a non-citizen wins the division.
Right. So I'm not sure how it works for points, but I do know that for the major, if it's international and there is somebody in the division who makes it to the finals and wins first, then it's whichever American finishes the highest gets that major win, I believe is what I read in the Poomsae pathway.
Let me go to those right now. She receives a 7.3.
All right, let's check the pathways. Coach Byrne is going to do some quick research while Belinda continues here with Kumgang. Oh, just held on to it there, having a couple of balance checks. She's taking a very aggressive tempo, so I think it is hurting her balance just a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how the judges weigh the rhythm and tempo versus some of these balance checks. Much more solid on that crane stance.
So how it works is if a US athlete does not win the gold, then the highest finishing medalist from the US will qualify for any team trial. So that's really good to know. So let's see if that all factors in after Belinda Ko's performance here. So she received a 7.3, and that was the highest score so far in the competition. The second one, a little bit more of a minefield for her there, which Kumgang can be. And she finishes with a 6.715, and things just turn a little bit upside down for her on that one. So this is Tu Doolittle from Dewangale.
This is a little bit low, but she is just filling up the screen completely here at the top of Chongkwon. This is such a good bar right up at the top. Lots of different hand techniques. You don't do too many other places. It's sort of like Shipjin at the top. You have those, or I guess Tebek with the hand techniques right up at the top in the camera.
She usually does very well in competition by just really staying grounded and making sure her accuracy is really very clean.
And that's right. She has a lot of silver medals and golds at the AAU championships in 2020. So here she is. She came into this round in 5th place. Yeah.
So she's now got a very high score, 7.57. So that's the highest score so far.
Yeah, the Kumgang scores have tended to drop for the first 3 athletes. So if she can hold on here, she would have a nice gap between the first 3 athletes.
Well, Kumgang should play to her strengths, right? She is low center of gravity. She should be able to move at that height pretty well when she's down into that horse stance there.
Too, as a dojang owner out there in Texas, I know they had all those problems with the crazy weather right at the time when the registration was happening for this event, and they were trying to record their Poomsae, and some of them didn't have electricity. It was just crazy. So to all of the Texas athletes that we have who are able to, train in the freezing weather, get their video recordings done, I think it just really shows the resiliency of our Poomsae athletes, and Master Tu Doolittle here is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, it's quite a feat, and it's something I would completely expect from Tu. She's kind of a, warrior there, soldier, seasoned in this competition venue. She receives a 7.2, and just like everybody else in the division, took a little bit of a drop in the second form. So she went from a 7.57 to 7.2. What was the total there?
7.385.
7.385. That's going to be important. This is Krista Danielewicz from Zheng's Taekwondo Incorporated in Illinois. Now we get a completely different body type, right? Nice and long and tall, and Tu being very petite. So this is a very nice contrast. I like seeing these 2 athletes back to back. She also had a very good semifinal round. I thought she looked stronger than she has ever looked.
Mm-hmm. Chris is also new to this division. This is the 51 to 60 age group, and she's 51 right now. Ooh, quick.
Mm-hmm.
Krista started training in Taekwondo in 2009 with her 2 boys, and she competed in her first national championships in 2015, where she won a bronze medal at her first national championships, which is amazing. And outside of Taekwondo and in safer non-pandemic times, she says that she really enjoys traveling and hiking. Hiking seems like a good activity we can still do pretty safely outside for now.
Mm.
Although I guess she's in Illinois and it's pretty cold out right now. Nice low stance to finish off.
Nice finish.
바로.
She gets a 7.23, so right around the third spot for that performance.
All right, so Kumgang is going to be pretty interesting here. Again, she is one of the taller athletes for this division, so she's going to have to work extra hard to stay low and grounded in these stances. But this first bar opening up really strong.
Nice, pretty high level thigh there. Really trying to push out on that, at least that first horse stance, a little shorter on the second. That was an interesting turn, wasn't it? Boy, that timing was something else. I got to look at that again, how she did that. Trying to go for that deep horse stance.
A little bit of a drag there instead of picking it straight up. So she's being very cautious on the pickups into these crane stances, really taking her time on the transitions. But because some of the other transitions like that one are so fast, the contrast there is a little bit off for me for the overall rhythm. But I can definitely understand why she's doing it. So we'll see the last transition here into the crane stance.
Yeah, a little bit of pre-stepping in a couple of those turns. So we'll see how that affects her. But this one, she just seems a little bit more comfortable with this left leg up in the Haktari Sogi.
바로.
So a couple little pre-steps, a couple little details here and there, but a really good performance from Krista Daniewicz from Jang's Taekwondo Incorporated in Illinois. So she received a 7.23 for the first, and again, just like everyone else, a little bit of a drop in the second. So the person who can get away with a very strong Kumgang is going to be the leader, I'm sure. So 7.2, I think that puts her into second.
Yep.
Okay, up next we have Cindy from USCR Taekwondo.
So we're down to our last three athletes here of the division.
So for Changkwon, there are a lot of hand techniques that are coming up right here on this line, really looking to see how the athlete used their core during these turns. They're big turns, and so it's not just whipping around the hands, and Cindy did a good job there. It's really the core turning and the hands being delivered by the core. She's nice and even tempo through the whole Poomsae. Sometimes athletes will do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, depending on the line, but she's very consistent throughout. This is Cindy getting a huge 7.77. If you thought the last group, the under 50 group, was competitive, these guys, man, they will do just about anything they can to get these scores up. They are hugely competitive.
Oh, she chose a really great starting point because she's going to be big in the screen for the whole time.
Right. And all these athletes are really great sports, right? And very sportsmanlike out there on the mat. But, you know, don't be mistaken. They have that smile, but they will tear your head right off in a nice way.
With a smile on.
Mm-hmm.
So solid here for Cindy on these transitions. A little bit of a rise, but really clean here, no bobbles.
Yeah, many of these women have been competing for decades, and they just want it really bad. We think sometimes maybe the under 50, under 40, under 30 be highly competitive, and maybe some athletes would be a little bit more casual or having fun. Nope, these guys, these are the most competitive of the lot. So that's Cindy. She got a 7.77 from her first form and now a 7.87. Huge score. This is going to be a nice little gap for her so far.
And higher on Kumgan, the only person to do that so far.
Yeah, that is quite the feat, a whole 0.1. So Cindy, nicely in the first. Look at how much of a gap that is. Followed by
there,
Doolittle, Krista Daniewicz, Pat Petrovsky, Amber Smith, and Belinda Ko. So up next, we have Yang An from Honging Ihua, USA.
시작.
Beautiful start to Changquan, nice and calm. There are a couple of choices about how athletes do this transition here. Do they close their hands all the way and step, or do they close their hand and step toward the end of that closing? Like some athletes will start stepping right there, and then look, she took that full close before she moved. Interesting. I think she could go a little bit lower. Her body type saying, yeah, let me drop down a little bit. Yeah, good timing. I think she can go lower and feel more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see it, Miyako, or do you think that's about the right height?
I think some of them look okay, but especially when she was up closer towards the camera, it looked like she was standing a little too high. So for consistency, I do agree she should go lower.
Just find that right spot. 7.34, that's a good score though. So I think that's right around third for that form.
시작.
Yeah, we have such a big range of scores here. I have to really go down my notes and look.
Little bit of a balance check in the middle there. One stance a little bit too shallow going back. Nice posture. Looks real strong and serene right here. A little bit of a wobble on that bottom leg, but she's able to kind of discount that. And again, a little bit of a balance check there.
Yeah, there's just not quite enough of a difference in height from when she's standing up in those 5 counts versus down in these stances. So a little bit lower, I think, would help her overall presentation and probably her balance too.
Yeah, interesting. She did stay the same height, but just a little bit too high. So the first form, she got a 7.34, nice solid score for Changquan. And now for Kumgang, this is really going to matter, 6.83. So that has been a significant factor in these scores for this division. She finishes with a 7.085. And our final competitor is Jan Trigg from Michigan State University Taekwondo Club. So let's see how she navigates Changquan.
So this is the division that Elva Adams has been very competitive in. She won it last year.
Yeah, it was on the 2020 World Championship team and was the winner of one of the 2 gold medals at the World Championship. So now, nice sidekick by Jan, a little low on that punch. Now Elva is concentrating a little bit more on referee development. Little heel pop on that one transition, but those punches are really nice. And we get to see that kick overhead. Nice. Little short on the back stance.
Right.
Nice.
So with Elda focusing on the refereeing, it sort of opens up this division. So Jan was in first place coming into the finals, and we had that massive score from Cindy. So the score to beat right now, way, way, way up at the top, is a 7.82 combined.
Right. And that door that's open, all these guys are running right for it, and they will knock you over on the way to it. So you better watch out and you better be prepared. And Jan Trigg, yeah, she looks really great doing this Changquan. I expect a really high score. There's some edges that can be softened along the way, but she gets a nice, strong 7.43. Now that puts her into about third. So she's going to have to do some magic here with Kumgang. I think she can if she just stays low, and because that's what it takes, right? You got to stay low and you got to stay balanced. And it's been a bit of a minefield for the other athletes. So let's see if she can hang on to this and maintain her height, like from that Hakdari Sogi to staying low. From that back stance to this Hakdari Sogi. Doesn't look like she's having a lot of wobble there at all, or much of any. No over rotation on the punch, but otherwise good. Just got to stay low here and eliminate the wobble. So we've had significant drops in score between the two, probably the biggest gaps that we've seen in any division, right, Miyako?
Right, yeah. Yeah, some big gaps here. Kumgang, very hard form, I think, especially as the second Poomsae in the draw with Changquan. Hard, but I think a lot of opportunities for really nice presentation.
Right, so it's check in the midway there, in the midline, with that center line Hakdari Sogi, a little bit of a balance check there, but staying. Trying to hold
for this last one, man. Oh, come on, Jan.
So some power, boom. So this is a highly competitive division. You got some high scores here, up to a 7.82 from Cindy So let's see how Jan Trigg does. 6.9. So that Kumgang is known as a killer. It is a killer of hopes and dreams sometimes. 7.165 for Jan Trigg. So let's see where we are in the standings. So Cindy taking first, followed by Tu Doolittle, Krista Danielwoods, Jan Trigg, then Yang Ang finishing in fifth. 6th, Pat Petrovsky, 7th, Amber Smith, and 8th, Belinda Coe.
Yeah, the judges were really taking off some points there in the accuracy on that Kumgang.
That was just brutal. And that is the biggest biggest score change between forms that we see the entire US Open so far. So this is now starting off with the first competitor in the under 65 female division. This is Maria Deshaw from US Taekwondo Center in North Carolina.
And this is your division, Coach Brand, which is always fun.
Right. I like her hair. She changed up her hair color a little bit since the last competition. Looking good.
She's taken the Pak Young approach for gold hair for gold medals.
Yeah, that's right. It's nice and vertical in this stance here. Now the big power move there and working into the front kicks. Good. Trying to show that balance on that back fist is important in that last step forward and a nice strong finish. Right. It can feel a little tight ropey on the end there of Sipchin. So good job to Maria Deshaw for navigating that. And she gets a 6.33. What was that, Miyako?
What's a normal number of athletes for you in this division? Is this about a normal size?
It can vary. if we get 5, that would be like hallelujah, right? So waiting for some of these under 60 players to age up and join us. But it's been the case all along, right? When Master Noreen Thackeray volunteered to join the World Championship team in 2006, it was because there were no athletes in that division in the I think it was I should say under 60s. She was in her 50s. So steadily that division has grown and grown, and it's working its way up.
Yeah, and of course now we have for the first time the over 70 division, which won't be in this session. It will be in the 3rd session. So there still some weeks before we get to see that, but I'm super excited to see how many athletes we get in that division.
In the 70, with the cadet and junior?
No, they're in the last one with the para and youth.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because it was a late addition.
Right.
Ready up?
Yes.
So teach your grandmas. Let's
Come
go.
here.
Let's get some more in the over 70. Let's go.
Well, there are some social things in place, right? 6.24. I know when I was younger, I had to wait a long time because there were no classes that females were allowed to go into, at least where I was. So I had to wait a little bit and beg someone to finally take me. So it's, different things were in play way back when in the Stone Age of Poomsae. But now everybody is welcome and everybody is excited to get a piece of this Poomsae action. This is Christine Hislop. So she's actually in a different environment than she's been in before. We've seen her, might have been her home site in a basement or a garage. So now she's able to, in Arizona, go to a club site. That's great.
She's taking a pretty good approach here on the tempo, which is hard sometimes with Stripton with all of these 5 counts to show a good connection of rhythm, but she's doing a good job. And look at these front kicks. Holy cow.
Right. She's made a lot of progress over the last couple of years, and especially since the Grand Slam, I think beginning of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Christine Hislop from First Taekwondo in Arizona. She gets a 6.86, so pretty big gap over Maria Deshaw's first form, more than a half a point, as Maria got a 6.33.
Man, and here we go again with choreo.
Lots of choreo, no shortage of choreo if you're looking to study it at all different divisions. So
yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to compare yourself with somebody of a different division, so you have a lot of choices today.
Mm-hmm.
Did division do it? I feel like they did.
She's doing some really good power in her hand techniques. A little bit of balance checks here on the bottom half. We want to just stay as grounded and clean as we can on the stances, but I really like what her hands are doing. Some fun facts about Christine is that she's a retired engineer.
Oh, wow.
And she likes to scuba dive. And she is also a watercolor artist.
Well, that's interesting because it does seem like she's pretty precision oriented on the Poomsae. She's really trying to finish in the right accurate spot, or has a definite idea of where she wants to throw that technique. So she gets a 6.17 on, things might switch up now. Nope, not quite, right? Because
not quite,
yeah, not quite. So
she got that high score on the first one.
6.515. So now into first place.
And now for our last competitor of this division, we have Barbara Brand from Sacramento Taekwondo Club. And Coach Brand didn't submit any fun facts.
What do you want to know?
I want to know everything about you.
Oh my goodness.
So, of course, Coach Brand recently won. She is a world champion from the online Poomsae Worlds last year, which was one of the 2 gold medals. Is that right? That the U.S. was able to take home?
Right. Elva Adams being the other world champion and really well earned on Elva's part for sure. I had a lot of fun prepping for the World Championship and had a lot of support, both at home and from my event coach, national coach, Dan Chuang. So I felt like I was in a really good position by the date of the event.
You had some really great front kicks there coming towards the camera. They were clearing your head.
It's working on that for you.
Nice stance. I feel like you should taper your pants, Coach Brand, so that we could really appreciate how low you get in those stances, because I know you're low, but some of those pants are wide on your petite frame. And look at this score. You are totally gapping everyone.
So the pants, yeah, those are a size 1. My uniform's a size 1. They don't make a smaller size than that.
Really?
So not in that.
In the master.
Right, not in that gold uniform. I don't know. They felt okay. I mean, you need a little room, right?
Right. Well, so you got a 7.60 on the first form for Shipton, and now choreo, the side kicks looking very clean, looking up at the front kicks. I have to remind myself to do that. It still isn't ingrained yet.
Yeah, that was a thing, right, for World Championship that they wanted to make sure that we did, that we had that nice look upward. So I try to make that kind of clear on those front kicks, and it seems pretty natural to me.
Really nice, clean side kicks, a little bit long on that walking stance, pulling back on the second side.
You're not supposed to notice.
Luckily, the judges already scored, so. Really nice, clean finish.
.3. They didn't like it that much.
Still, clearly more than a point higher than the next score for that form. So overall, really great.
7.465. So here are the standings for that division.
So Coach Brandon first, followed by Christine Hislop and Maria Deshaw in third. That means that Coach Brand, you get that major win and puts you on the national team roster for this year.
That's delightful. Okay, so we're going to, now you want to talk about competitive? These guys, I don't know why I thought to say that the under 50 and under 60 were competitive, because these guys are the ultimate in competitive. This up first is Erica Linthorst from CT Chungdakwon in New York. She is an athlete, competitive athlete extraordinaire. She will go to any event, no matter where it is in the world, and perform strong in every single one of them. It's great to see this division gets a crack at Hansu. This side kick right here is the challenging part because it's off to a rear 45-degree angle, but she makes easy work of that.
Right, and Erica is also, we have so many world champions in the U.S. in some of these master categories. Erica is one of our mini world champions. And now, of course, a big proponent to have some of the age groups continue beyond. So because, I think in large part because of her efforts, starting a petition, we now have that 70-plus age category.
Exactly right. She gets a 6.6 on Hansu. And we have 3 athletes in this division. All of them have a ton of experience. So she's going to have her work cut out for her here. And this form is very challenging. As you know, this is Pyongwon. It feels a little bit like you're on a balance beam as you're going through. It's all taking place on one line.
Nice big hand techniques. Good
right. She's spent a lot of time, right, working on her accuracy with the hand techniques. Good, and holding on to that line from the front kick to the side kick.
Yeah, Erica is just such an impressive athlete. Not only does she train in Taekwondo and compete in so many tournaments, but she also competes in tennis in the 65-plus team and has gone to nationals for that over 3 times, as you know, in addition to all the other things that she does. So she's just really, I think, a well-rounded athlete, cross training, doing these things. It's great to see her here.
And my only comment to that is, of course she does. So 6.57 for Erica Lindhorst on Pyongwon, and that one is a very difficult form. So the fact that it didn't drop, her score didn't drop too much is great. Now this is Tweedy Win. They have battled back and forth many times, Erica and Tweedy. Tweedy is a 2020 US national team member and on the World Championship team and our Pan Am team in December. Looks like she's trying to go for a little bit more flow. So she doesn't have like really sharp, powerful endings. That one was pretty good, but she tends to more like, you know, let it go out there really extended.
Yeah, she has a nice volume of motion with her hand techniques. Her front kick's really high. We'll see another one here.
Yeah, and fast.
And of course, this is Hansu, which we haven't seen yet in this tournament. It's the highest form I think of for these tournaments, and it goes at the diagonal, which is different.
And 6.8. And once you play with it a little bit, you really come to love it. There are some really nice opportunities in that form to show your personality. So with Pyongwon, let's see how it goes. So Erica got a 6.6 on the first form, Tweedy 6.8. Erica got a 6.57 on the second. Let's see how Tweedy navigates these turns.
Pretty solid there on the first one.
Little rise and fall on this. She can just stay nice and low during that part and this part as well. So that Haktari, so you can stay low.
Tweedy also speaks French, and one of her fun facts is that she loves to play ping pong. Nice finish there for Tweedy.
Yeah.
So she did have a bit of a gap on the first one. We'll see if she can hold on to it for Pyongwon.
0.2. So let's see how she does here. 6.67. So now into first place for Tweedy Win. Finishing with a 6.735. And up last we have Bronan Butterworth, veteran competitor. Often, well, I can't think of a time where she wasn't at the US Open. Recently aged up. We were in the same division for the World Championship. So she aged up then, yeah.
Just now. Nice flexibility on those kicks.
Yeah, she looks good.
Nice control on the stomp. Very nice performance here. Okay, so here we have a battle.
Oh my, 6.84. Ooh.
Comes down to Pyongwon, the last form for the last competitor of the last division of the night.
This is nuts. I know these athletes and they're all saying, no, it needs to be me. She's so competitive. I think I remember back at the World Championships, like 2007, maybe. I mean, she's been at this a nice long time.
Well, she must be a wealth of knowledge of Poomsae over the years, just really how to continue to train and stay healthy, keep your body in good shape. I'd love to talk with her sometime.
Well, she's a lot of fun. She's a kick in the pants, and she got a 6.84. So nice little gap over Tweedy Win on the first form. Let's see how she does on the second. Tweedy got a 6.67. Ooh, look at that. 6.9. So she said,
higher.
She said, I didn't need to get on a plane. I did all my work right here in Australia. 6.87, and all of them look fantastic. Bronan Butterworth finishes in first place, followed by Tweety Wynn and Erica Lindmarson. As you mentioned, I think we're going to see Erica one more time, right?
That's right. I think she's going to compete in that over 70. So make sure you keep checking back in, and we'll have the final episode tomorrow night.